The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina sometimes deals with disturbing and problematic topics. We've provided a list of content warnings in the episode description.
I'm Brenton.
And we have 2 new episodes of Sabrina for you.
2 fantastic episodes of
These
Sabrina.
are really good.
Best episode so far in my book.
I'm a big fan. I like.
Oh yeah. The reason I like these episodes so much is because it broadens out the world in fun ways. It brings the world to the show. So it makes it feel, it's like, ooh, all these other things that are happening like around these not basically like supernatural, you know. So we get in avenging angels disguised as missionaries. We get like that. There's a whole, you know, it's a church of night. You've got the anti-pope because it's built off like the Catholic. So there's like this whole system going on there, and it makes it just feel bigger and broader by bringing it into the show without having to leave the settings and things they do. I think it does a really good job.
Yeah.
This is also why the second Matrix is the best Matrix.
Because it does a similar thing.
Yes.
I was like...
There's no popes in that.
I was like...
No.
What's the connection? Like, you got some people who wear black a lot, I guess. Like, what's...
you learn about Zion. You also learn about, like, all the other programs that live inside the Matrix. You learn about the different versions of the Matrix and things they tried. It's cool.
That's interesting because Zion came up when I was doing my research on Enoch.
Oh...
Because remember, I was telling you, I think it's a Mormon thing.
Yes,
it was a Mormon thing. But anyway,
the Book of Enoch, right? Which is part of the Book of Mormon.
That might be incorrect, but
okay.
The story of Enoch, which might be like, I think Enoch comes up historically in I think Christianity and Judaism, and then obviously Mormonism, but like the book wasn't included, and there's some stuff about that. But then I don't remember if the Mormon version exactly like what the.
I misremembered how Book of Enoch came up. That it wasn't included in the Bible.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Well, you're pulling up Enoch right now.
I'm just. Yeah, we can get to Enoch when we get to the recap of when we discuss like the deep
episode.
dive. Yeah.
Okay. Well, should we get into Enoch himself in this episode?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we've got a loaded cast list today. I pulled in more people than usual because I don't think a lot of these people are going to be on future episodes. So we're going to start off. I was so excited when Ray Wise appeared as the anti-pope, aka Enoch of Antioch. Oh my God. So if you've seen Twin Peaks, you know this man because he's Leland Palmer.
He haunts your nightmares.
In Twin Peaks and Fire Walk with Me. Yeah. And just incredible in that show. In both being like really dark and also extremely funny. I had forgotten, and someone shared a clip of at Laura's funeral when everybody's breaking down and crying, and he jumps on top of the casket, and then the hydraulics are messed up, so the casket keeps going up and down.
Yes.
And he's just crying on top of it. Oh, my God. So, other than Twin Peaks, he also played the devil in a mid-aught show called Reaper, which is about a guy who finds out, I think on his 21st birthday, that his parents sold his soul to the devil. And it's like a comedy show.
Vibes.
I remembered when it was on. He also is just known for doing so many different things. Like, I feel like Ray Wise loves to show up for a cameo, but also he was recently in Young and the Restless as Ian Ward from 2014 to 2016, and then also in 2024 and 2025. Also, people who watched Tim and Eric Awesome show, he showed up quite a bit, playing in different sketches, and is also, treat yourself to this if you haven't seen it already. He's in the Wishes, the Beach House. He's in the music video for the song Wishes by Beach House, which is directed by Eric Wareheim of Tim and Eric. That is such a weird music video, but he's so good. It's like there's like a weird game of like football happening and like cheerleaders, and then he's like presiding over it. It's incredible. Ray Wise, always a treat, and does such a good job in this episode of being like the perfect level of like lascivious and like a nice person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Balances that papal quality well. All right, so on to the next one. I'm going to take a shot in the dark on these missionary names. Drathmiel. I think he like goes by Jeremy. He like tells someone to go by Jeremy.
Yeah, or Jerry.
Jerry, there you go. Played by Spencer Treat Clark, who was a child actor, so was in Gladiator and Unbreakable.
And I want you to look at his outfit if you're watching visually or if you watch the show and think about what it reminds you of.
Oh, yeah. These are intentionally Mormon missionaries.
It's very, very, I can picture a bike helmet with this because all the Mormons in my town rode bikes. I don't know if that's like everywhere or if it was just where I lived because they had more ground to cover that they rode bikes as they went door to door.
Oh, when we were visiting your brother, we saw missionaries riding their bikes. So yeah, at least where we live though, they had a car.
Yeah, where we in one of our previous places we lived in the area we live in, we had they had like apartments for the missionaries and a car that seemed to come with that apartment because the neighbors would switch, but the car and the apartment would stay the same.
Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden we just get new neighbors.
So there was there was a set of girls and a set of boys in two different parts in the same apartment complex, and we had lived in two different units, so we ended up living next to both. And I didn't notice the first time the girls switched. You did, and I thought it was the same people because they dressed very similarly and they didn't really talk to us.
Yeah, they just kind of say hello.
They were nice.
Very
but, like,
friendly.
we weren't talking to them. But then one set of them really liked our dog and would like talk to our dog. So then when they were gone, I was like, wait, these are different people. Long story short, the apartments came with a car.
That's right. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it was they were nice cars too.
Yeah.
One of them did back into someone else's car.
Oh yeah. It
was a slow collision.
Yeah. There were lots of it was like you could park on like either side of the parking lot, and there's lots of work cars for the local plant by us, and they just went back into
a truck.
Yes, I was walking urban in the morning. Oh boy, but yeah, I think the show is being very pointed in pulling in our Mormon missionaries here.
Very much so.
Because it is a very, while we had nice interaction with these folks, and don't blame the kids that are doing this, it is a pretty sinister practice.
Yes, and it's also, there's just a lot to it. And never trust a man with a skinny tie.
That's right. That's what Spencer Treat Clark is so good in this episode. He's incredible, honestly.
He's so good at this.
Yeah, the way he...
I'm like, I believe that you're an angel that's a horrible person.
Yes, exactly. Like, the way he vacillates between, like, that, like, oh, we're just having a conversation about, like, the faith, to, like, the primal rage. Like, that very scary, like, masculine, like, he just becomes animalistic, like, when he's trying to get him.
I do feel as a woman that like this is how most men come off.
Yeah.
Like that men can be having a very normal conversation with you and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, he wants to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
And not in like a I'm paranoid way. And like when men get angry, it's so like they're so horrifying about it and they're so out of control. So I think it's also like a good allegory for that.
Oh,
and a very feminist show,
Absolutely.
To, like, show how like these men like doesn't matter what side you're on, men suck.
Totally. But he was also, Spencer Treat Clark was also recently in Glass, and the M. Night Shyamalan movie, and the new Salem's Lot that came out last year, I believe. Other big roles that he had was Werner von Strucker in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
And 27 episodes of Animal Kingdom as Adrian Dolan.
I don't know that.
It's a TNT like crime show.
Okay.
All right. On to our next missionary, Mehedable? Question mark on that. Played by Bailey Corman. Recent episodes, a couple episodes of 911 before the meteor. 3 episodes of that.
We get constant ads for this show, and it's always a meteor's falling, followed by Mark Consuelo standing at a podium.
Yes.
And that's all I know about the show. And to be frank, that's all I ever want to know about the show.
I know. Hats off to what they're doing over there. I'm sure it started off as like 911 dispatch. We're going to like help people like, fire things or like
They're
people
in
getting
space.
things. Yeah, exactly. They're in space. And then 3 episodes of that Bel Air show as Hannah Lennox, which is like the Serious Fresh Prince spinoff thing.
I didn't know this existed.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's like it's like a sequel. I can't remember if like Will Smith and like Alfonso Ribeiro like show up in it, but it is like more serious of like you fucked up and you have to go like live in Bel Air. Taking this like plot seriously. It's like a drama. And then she was also in 4 episodes of Young and the Restless.
Oh, well.
I know. We got to bring it up. And then our final one who gets killed by Dorian, Gideon, played by Graham McComb, did 3 episodes of Legends of Tomorrow as young Martin Stein. 8 episodes of that show, Unreal, which was the fictional show about making a Bachelor-like show.
Interesting.
We watched like 1 episode. It was like real mean. Like intentionally show.
I don't remember.
Yeah, because it's a like I said, fictional show about a like a crew behind the scenes of creating a show that's like The Bachelor, and it's just like showing as if there was like the worst sides of all these people of how they're like milking all this stuff. We watched like 1 episode of it.
I believe you.
Yeah, and then it was also in 1 episode of Reaper.
I thought you were going to say The Young and the Restless.
I know exactly. Other continuity, but not that. I haven't highlighted Melvin yet, played by Tyler Cotton. It looks like Sabrina, he had like 4 other smaller roles of things I didn't quite recognize, but Sabrina, I think he's in 20 episodes. So like pretty much the whole thing, or like a good majority of Sabrina. So wanted to at least shout him out. Mm-hmm. And then our other witch defying the missionaries, M. Hain, playing Elsbeth. A recent show that was going on, I think it's on Hulu, was 19 episodes of Reginald the Vampire.
Okay.
6 episodes of Mighty Ducks Game Changers, pulling in from last episode. And then was in the 2nd season of Fargo for 8 episodes of that. I believe probably playing a daughter or something. I didn't quite recognize the character. I was like, oh, that came out in 2015. No wonder I don't remember. Mm-hmm. And then 3 episodes of, drumroll please, The 100.
Oh, a classic.
I know. All right, so that's our cast for this week.
Okay, I'm into it.
Would you like to lead us off with a little background for our first episode then? Is this where you wanted to bring it up?
Sure, we can do that.
Chapter 16, Blackwood.
So I just looked up things, like I was like, oh, the name Enoch sounds familiar. This sounds biblical. And so I did a quick Google, and Enoch is... In Genesis, Enoch is a character who, like, the line is like, he walked with God and then he was no more, for God took him. So like it's kind of interpreted as he was taken up into heaven in a similar way that like later than Mary is taken up into heaven, like
right.
full body and soul and all that vibe. He's the subject of a lot of Jewish and Christian traditions. Different people interpret a different way. He's a saint in the Catholic Church and some others.
Good for him.
Exactly. And there's like the books of Enoch. There's like 3 of them. And we're not going to get into that because it doesn't matter. And I just thought it was interesting. His it was an interesting choice, but then like I got sucked into the Mormon part of this because we had Mormon missionaries. So I don't know if that's at all supposed to be related or not, or if it's just supposed to be that like Enoch is named this because he's actually like a decent character and then like he dies. Like,
right.
But he's not taken like body and soul by the devil. So it's not really a good, like if they're just like, oh, this is a fun name. And maybe there's more to this because I didn't deep dive far enough. Like this is not my research subject, you know? But in Mormonism, Enoch is viewed as having founded an exceptionally righteous city named Zion in the midst of an otherwise wicked world. And it's in the Pearl of Price and the Doctrine of Covenants, which are the standard works, which is that what's in the Book of Mormon? I don't know enough about Mormonism to speak on it. This is all knowledge I've gleaned from Wikipedia, to be honest. But anyway,
Podcast research.
Exactly. But they like those books state that not only Enoch but the entire peoples of the city of Zion were taken off this earth without death because of their piety. So they're so pure of heart that they were all taken.
So probably could you say the same thing about Enoch then? He was so pious that that's why he was taken by the Lord, and maybe that's why we're putting it on the anti-pope of like he is the most, you know, if we're gonna flip it on its head, the most like unpious representative of this anti-church in a sense, and anti-Catholicism, this witch church.
Yeah, like I think there's lots of ways to play with it. I also looked up Antioch just to see because he's Enoch of Antioch, and I don't know enough about the Crusades because I was not a Crusades child. That wasn't my special interest.
Yeah, I didn't get sent over there either.
You weren't part of the Crusades?
No.
But I do know that Antioch was an important Greek city in the Hellenistic period, and during the Crusades, it seemed very important. So like I'm like, was this like tied into the Crusades in some way, and they're just like playing with that?
Yeah.
So if anyone knows a lot about this and wants to like help us tie these pieces together, or it's just like, no, I think they just picked names that were fun and kind of allude towards it, let us know, because I love learning these things, but I can only get so far into religion before I start to have a meltdown.
Yeah.
It's the trauma of being raised Catholic.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm assuming then Antioch must have, let's see, for the Crusades and then Greece, maybe it was like a place they were like going after, or a place where they were
just like
stationed.
an important city. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, upon it, you know, just wondering.
Totally. We also are going to talk about Hamlet in this episode, but I think I'll just get to that as we discuss, because Hamlet's a little more accessible and like it's not like, you know, but
they called out directly 1-to-1.
Exactly. It's very much called out. I think they even play with a direct line, but I didn't write it down. And we get the play within a play, and then like the ghost of a father demanding their child avenge their murder. So I'm like, oh, was Miss Wardwell teaching Hamlet? Because that would have been, I mean, she's not because she's a principal, but that would have been really funny.
Yeah, maybe Madam Satan just likes the works of Shakespeare.
To be honest, she's quoted him and utilized his tools now in multiple episodes, basically back to back.
That's right.
So I get it. She and Willie, they are friends, maybe.
That's right. Billiam.
Billion.
All right. Well, for the recap, Chapter 16, Blackwood. Blackwood shaves, and we see he's tatted the hell up. The weird sisters come in.
He's just like, I want a shirtless scene. I actually look very good without a shirt. And we were
right.
all like, you know what? You can have one.
Yeah, way to go. The weird sisters come in after having a dream, and it was like a premonition. We learn this is also on the eve of the anti-pope's visit and his marriage to Zelda. The weird sisters join hands and tell Blackwood that they had a dream of a funeral and to be wary of the Spellmans. He's like, don't you mind the Spellmans, they're at my mercy, and then shoos him away, but Prudence stays and asks if Sabrina would be at Blackwood. He's like, no, never. And it's like, she has as little claim to the name as you. Lilith and Stolas discuss how Sabrina has to tear down the church at night, which is according to the Dark Lord's will. Adam comes in wondering who she was talking to, and she's like, nobody. Zelda talks about the antipope coming to bless her marriage and talks about asking Faustus to lift a ban on Hilda. Ambrose is pissed at Salem because he thinks he ate Leviathan, which is familiar. Hilda says, "Don't take your grief out. Your grief over Luke out on Salem." And Zelda says, "Stop! Everybody smiles this week. I'm getting married."
Vibes.
Nick tells Sabrina about the antipope who presides over the witch council and all the witch laws. The current antipope is Enoch, and he was a fan of Sabrina's dad, Edward. Sabrina and Nick see the ghost of her dad on the landing, and she goes to talk to him, and he's just like, "Beware, Blackwood. He killed me and your mother." That'd be so good if he talked like Ebenezer. And tells Sabrina to protect Zelda.
I'm just picturing the Muppets.
Yeah, he's so good. Could always be made better.
You got your Muppets shirt on.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So he gives her a warning. Blackwood killed him and her mom, and to protect Zelda and finish the work he started before he died, which is in a manifesto. And he disappears. And Sabrina then leaves, and we see that the ghost was Madame Satan in disguise. Zelda hangs laundry and sees Constance in the graveyard. Prudence then comes to visit, and Constance disappears. Prudence asks for help convincing Blackwood to give her his name, and Zelda's like, "I don't know. Like, I don't want to get in between you." And Prudence like, "Well, haven't I kept the secret about the baby you stole?" And Zelda's like, "Well, okay, I'll see what I can do." Sabrina tells the family about the warning, and Zelda shuts her down and says the early draft of Edward's manifesto wasn't really much. Just some dribble about like morals and like witches living together. Zelda asks for Hilda's help on trapping Constance's ghost. These episodes are also really funny. The line here that Zelda gives, it's like, Constance was walking around in the gravestones with malicious intent, much like Sabrina here.
It was really good.
So good.
And she delivers these lines so deadpan and so well that you're just like, yeah.
I can't do it justice.
It's such a good show.
Sabrina leaves and Ambrose stops her. He's like, "Hey, actually, you might be onto something about Blackwood. I had this tarot reading with really bad vibes, and then I was invited to the Judas Society, and Sabrina wants to find out what's going on with Blackwood." She visits Lilith to ask for help, and Lilith says, "Well, the independent inquiry into your parents' death was ordered by Blackwood." And Sabrina...
And he signed off on it, too, whatever.
Exactly. Isn't that weird? I don't know. Edward was supposed to deliver his manifesto to reform the church to the antipope, but unfortunately, there's only one copy, and it was on the plane that he crashed. That killed him and Sabrina's mom. Sabrina wants to get the manifesto, which was where the plane went down in the Devil's Triangle. Not the Bermuda Triangle, the Devil's Triangle.
Do you think it's the same one?
Maybe two different ones. I don't, because I mean, it would have to be over the Atlantic, and where's the Bermuda Triangle?
I always thought it was like near Florida.
Yeah, probably farther south.
Well, but we don't know where.
They're going to go vacation in Rome afterwards when they go to visit the antipope.
Well, and also don't planes take weird routes because of like air streams and stuff?
Do you think they'd go that far south?
I don't know. No.
I see. So I'm just thinking, I'm like, it's probably a little farther north.
I think they went on a cruise, and then they said they were going to see the antipope.
Yeah, there you go.
Having
Or to deliver his body.
Yeah.
Oh wait, sorry, to see the antipope.
Yeah.
Zelda asks for Hilda's reinstatement into the church, and Blackwood agrees. She then asks about Prudence. Adam tells Lilith he wants to set a date to get married. Sabrina has Nick go through a tub to get the manifesto. So it's like cast a spell to go through the tub to end up in the water in the Emerald in the Devil's Triangle.
Which is a great way to get out of building another set.
It's really good because then he pops up and appears and he's like, I got it.
And Salem's like all like Sabrina's like, he said he can hold his breath for 4 minutes.
And the pressure's not going to kill him. Yeah. And then Hilda walks in to see Nick shirtless after coming back out and sopping wet. And then Hilda is like, Sabrina, I need you to be bait for Constance's ghost. And Nick, put a shirt on.
Yeah, Hilda has a very obvious Harvey bias that really comes out in these episodes.
It's really funny.
It's hilarious.
Constance visits a hooded figure and promises to haunt Zelda and her loved ones if she goes through with the wedding. Zelda goes through the wedding. Hilda steps out and offers her an alternative to either be locked in a box or tell her why she's haunting Zelda. And Contis is like, well, Zelda killed me and stole my babies. And Hilda's like, well, that's just not true. But who told you that? And Contis is like, well, Sister Jackson. And Hilda's like, that's Sister Jackson. Well, aren't you tired? Let me help you go to sleep. And then helps her pass on to the other side. The Judas Society gather to honor Lucas, and Blackwood's like, I am going to give the anti-pope my new doctrine. 1. I paraphrased both doctrines and manifestos here. So, 1. Warlocks can do as they please. 2. Mortals are beneath them. 3. Warlocks get to rule over mortals. 4. Witches serve warlocks. And then 5. Warlocks shall rule. Blackwood asks Ambrose to guard the anti-pope during his visit, and Ambrose agrees. Zelda asks Hilda to attend her the night before the marriage in case the Dark Lord visits, because apparently the Dark Lord has a right to claim witches before their wedding. Sabrina and Nick share the manifesto with Ambrose from her father, which is, again, paraphrased. 1. Mortals and witches share the same destiny because they're two sides of the same coin, essentially. 2. Mortals and witches should live together. 3. Witches should lead. So witches, as in the women of the coven, should lead, not warlocks. Mm-hmm. #ally. 4. Magic can be used for pleasure and gain. 5. Only the union of witches and mortals will bring the era of the Morning Star. I'm assuming Morning Star was defined in the appendices. Sabrina wants to interrupt Blackwood and the Antipope's meeting to deliver her father's manifesto. The Antipope arrives. Prudence asks Zelda if she spoke with Blackwood, and she's like, sorry, he wouldn't budge. The Antipope stops to meet with Sabrina and talks about his admiration for her dad and wonders aloud about his philosophies. Wow, he was going to deliver his manifesto to me, and I've always wondered what they were. And she's like, Blackwood leads them away as the weird sisters stop to be introduced, and Blackwood's like, oh, yes, these are the gutter children that the church adopted. Hilda visits Sister Jackson to ask why she hates Zelda. And I had forgotten about this. Sister Jackson is like, oh, I'm really actually pissed because Edward dumped me to get together with the mortal. Really?
That long ago?
I mean, this fucking sucks.
He's dead. Who cares?
Yeah. And then it's like, well, now, and then Zelda took over and started like rising up in the ranks. So no, like, Spellman is going to like lead. She offers to work with Hilda because like, oh, your sister tramples all over you. And Hilda's like, well, you got it wrong because I love my sister very much and do not fuck with her. And then apparently the cookies that she brought over that Sister Jackson has been eating were filled with cyanide. Sabrina arrives to interrupt Blackwood's meeting, and she brings out her dad's manifesto, and Blackwood's like, impossible. The Antipope's like, you know what? I'm going to take these both. I'm going to retire to my chambers and have a nice reading and think about it. Madam Satan tells Adam that marriage is the obliteration of a woman's personhood, and she doesn't want to get married. Adam says marriage doesn't matter, only you, and someone has hurt you either in the past or while I was gone, and I will never hurt you. She says he was so cruel to me, and Adam comforts her, and they kiss. Nick and Sabrina have a sexy moment together. Blackwood talks to Judas and says he has contingencies in place to prevent the Antipope from picking the Spellman manifesto. Lilith is visited by the Dark Lord, and he's annoyed that the church has not fallen yet, and says the mortal is a distraction to her, and she needs to get rid of him, and that she belongs only to him. Ambrose and other members of the Judas Society guard the Antipope, and Ambrose is like, ooh, my stomach's so upset. Hilda comforts Zelda when the Dark Lord suddenly appears. This is intercut also with Prudence visiting Blackwood while he sleeps with a knife to go and kill him. Blackwood wakes up and they hear screaming. The Dark Lord leaves Zelda when the screaming happens. And everyone gathers at the Antipope's room as he has been killed. Blackwood is like, and then all the Judas Society boys, including Ambrose, that were like guarding the room are in there covered in blood. And they look confused. And Blackwood's like, you killed him, and starts killing the Judas boys one by one with his very sharp nails. And then Ambrose teleports away. Ambrose appears in Sabrina's room, and he's like, I have no idea how the Antipope died, but they're coming for me. And they hear Blackwood and the gang arrive outside. Sabrina tells Nick to get Ambrose away. And Sabrina comes downstairs, and the Judas Society boys and her search the house. Zelda thinks Ambrose did it, and then the search comes up empty, and Blackwood insists that they'll hold a wedding and a funeral for the Antipope in the same time. The Judas Society searches Dorian's but finds nothing, and then as they leave, Dorian opens up a hidden compartment where his picture is kept, and inside, Ambrose was there. Ambrose starts to get sick and throws up his own familiar, Leviathan.
I thought Dorian was in the picture and Ambrose was wearing like a glamour to look like Dorian.
Oh, did I
Because I thought
that?
Dorian came out and was like, "Oh, it's hell in there."
I
He's
thought
like
so.
hiding in your own picture. That's a good trick.
Oh, okay. So I had that switched.
I think.
I bet you're right. Because like it does look like Ambrose appears,
Yeah.
but Dorian's the one
that comes
appears.
out of the painting.
That makes more sense. Ambrose throws up his own familiar. Dorian thinks he was inside Ambrose to control him, and Ambrose is like, Leviathan was a gift from Blackwood. Dorian says every warlock he knows who got close to Blackwood ends up dead, and Ambrose promises revenge. The next day, Nick visits Sabrina, and Sabrina promises revenge also, and to stop the ceremony. But she wants to get revenge in the style of Hamlet, because in Hamlet they put on a play that proved the king's guilt, and then they're going to do something similar for Blackwood. Blackwood rips into Prudence for coming to kill him, and he's like, you know what? You doing that shows you're a real grind set. You're good. You're good. Upstart. You show a lot of initiative, and that's why I'm going to give you my last name. The funeral/wedding starts. The ceremony includes calling demons forth, draining a rabbit of its blood, them drinking the blood, their hands being sheathed together under the skin of a mortal, and Blackwood says the marriage vow of like her submitting to him. He's the only one who says the vows. And then Sabrina's parents come in to blame Blackwood of killing them, and Blackwood's like, Sabrina, I know it's you, and removes their clamor. And then Sabrina accuses him of killing the anti-pope. And then Ambrose appears behind him and yells, die, Blackwood. But like because he yelled, die, Blackwood, everybody has a chance to react to him, and Prudence stops him with a spell. The Judas Society catches him. Lilith has a plan with Stolas to protect Adam, and when Adam comes in, she slips a ring on his finger and promises to set a date and tells him he must never take the ring off. Zelda blames Sabrina for ruining her big day. Ambrose is being held in a prison for his crimes, and Sabrina and Nick have been expelled from the academy, and Zelda says her and Blackwood were married in his office. And Zelda and Blackwood head off to ferry the anti-pope's body to the necropolis, and then they'll honeymoon in Rome, and he leaves Prudence in charge while he's gone, and as they walk away, she tries to walk next to him, and Blackwood says, Zelda,
yeah.
don't you know a wife should always follow her husband? The end.
Okay. So one of the things I really like about this episode is using Ambrose as the way for us to see how Blackwood took Spellman's manifesto and made the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
How Blackwood was like, so Blackwood either knew about it or it's modeled after what their current manifesto system is. I don't really know. And they have two inverse but like identical in format manifestos.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I like that they each laid out their 5 doctrines.
Yes. I thought that was very fun. I think it's 5 because like the points on a pentagram.
That makes sense.
I thought it was fun. I really like that Ambrose is our way of seeing that, and that Ambrose quickly is very obviously chosen his side.
Yes.
Ambrose is like, no, it's like I can't be a part of this. Like which makes sense because Ambrose tried to blow up the Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
And why was that? We've never really gotten this whole story.
No. Mm-mm.
But I like to think that Ambrose has some good in him, a lot of good in him.
And I do also wonder if he tried to blow up the Vatican, is that such a bad thing for the Church of Night? I guess maybe it could be like a big like kerfuffle,
Well, and
put it lightly.
Was he trying to blow up the Vatican as in like the Catholics, or did they have their own separate Vatican because the anti-pope is also in Rome?
Exactly. I know they say the body obviously would go in the necropolis, but I don't know if that's where the church is also. So yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. Lots of questions still about the world, but like in a good way, where it's like you're exposing me to more of the world. Yeah, exactly. It makes you wonder because you're like, okay, so there's this whole church system, and he lives in Rome. So what is it like? What are the other churches throughout the place? It gets the mind going. Totally.
Dorian to me is a very interesting character. He obviously likes Nick.
Yeah.
Thinks Nick's fun. He's like, I'll do anything for my friend Nick. And you're
totally.
like, why are you two besties? What happened here?
They're just besties.
Yeah, which is totally fine. I just have questions. But him being like, yeah, I've watched everyone who gets close to Blackwood die, so be careful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have questions about that when we get to the next episode too.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting.
But yeah, he's truly unaligned. He just sticks by his friends. Like, he's not doing what the Church of Night like follows, right?
No, Dorian has his own. He's never at like the desecrated church or like doing anything like that. Dorian has his own like neutral third party kind of like life.
Yeah, he's truly just another supernatural being.
That like they were like, oh no, we can't have women here, and then like all of a sudden he's like, whatever, Sabrina can do what we want, and we have parties here all the time that are not just boy parties.
Uh-huh.
I have a lot of questions. I love the set, so I'm fine with it.
Oh yeah, it's great.
But I think it's funny. I want to talk about marriage.
Yeah,
because I think marriage is a key cornerstone in this episode, and I think it's fun because up until this point, Zelda has viewed marriage as a power play. She's viewed marriage as a political move. She's like, this gives me more power. This allows me to be in this position and to make my family look good. And like those are kind of, it seems like her goals with it.
Yes.
And she wants to be powerful and she wants to be on top, and get it, girl. And we know she wants to be a high priestess.
Mm-hmm.
And so she thinks with being with a high priest, she becomes a high priestess or the closest thing to it. Blackwood immediately is like back of the line.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Whereas we have Lilith, who is like, marriage is a trap, and like don't tie yourself to a man because the man I tied myself to treats me horribly. And we'll get into that more in the next episode. But he truly treats her horribly. And I just think it's really like accurate in a lot of ways that like we can view, and obviously we're married, and I think that marriage can be a wonderful, beautiful thing. And it's also, I think marriage is partially it's a legal convenience.
Yeah.
Like there are aspects of marriage that like, because we're married, I don't have to worry about certain things.
Oh,
because we are, I have, if you're in the hospital, I know I can get in. Things like that. Makes it sound like it's a club. I'm like, I gotta pay the bouncer and then I can get in. But I think it really plays with the idea that like specifically like tying yourself to a man is like the loss of your freedom, which is interesting because it implies that women have independence and freedom before that, which I would argue in this world they don't. Like I think you can lose more of your freedom, but they already have so little freedom that it becomes like what were her other options at the time? But it's really interesting. It's obviously trying to show us, to me, it's trying to show us that Lilith has a lot of regrets about who she's aligned herself with and how she's set up her life, and that she can't get out and that she's trapped. And like the claustrophobia of being bound to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really, really poignant.
Yeah,
like I like that.
Yeah, because marriage, in a lot of ways, has been a very regressive practice for women in real life of trapping them within, because the man traditionally has had all the power of being able to have a bank account and run all the finances. Also, the one in the past that would be the breadwinner that brings in all the money.
Who controls the money.
Exactly. So then, women, if there was something wrong with the marriage, like say abuse and things like that, had no options because they had no cash or anything to be able to get out.
Well, and everything as a woman you owned or you brought into a marriage was then your husband's. So you do lose that. So like any money you had when you got married was now your husband's. Any children you had with your husband are theirs. Like it becomes that. That's very, I'm feeling very Little Women right now because I feel like that's the little Florence Pugh like scene. But like it's true. So I think that it's a really good call out because we watch all these powerful women characters on this show constantly just like be so badass, but then it's like they can't quite get past because of these ways they've been bound by men.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, they're in a regressive society. And then Lilith and Zelda are making a choice for union for the same reasons. Lilith wanted power also because she was cast out and spurned by Adam, and had found someone to which she, like, there was a promise of power, as we saw at least in the reenactment. We don't know exactly the full details of what her and the devil had agreed to, but at least in the passion play. And the same thing with Zelda, where she thinks, like, I'll be able to use this to my advantage. But as the marriage happens at the end of the episode, we get a really dark view of, oh no, she is now has less power and control than ever than when she was outside the marriage. So you get it. And then I think with the nice contrast too with other potentially positive views of union with men, of the Adam in Lilith's life, Nick in Sabrina's life, which that's not marriage, but the type of like
a
healthy
positive relationship.
Exactly, that is possible. And even Edward and
Diana.
Thank you. Yeah. That it is pushing against the grain to then support the women in their life, that is being active, that is viewed as actively hostile to the patriarchy and worldviews. I mean, this played up within the show, but it results in Edward's death to try and like make these huge waves that would make things better and easier for his partner. So, and then the ways also that it pushes down on top of Sabrina. And then not only thinking of the regressive ways that Blackwood is enacting, but also then the Dark Lord himself. The
visiting the bride-to-be on her wedding night to claim her if you want.
Yes. The sexual assault of witches before their wedding
also
night.
wild because this isn't a church that values virginity. You know what I mean? Like it's so sick and twisted regardless, but I'm just like, it's
a really tough scene.
Yeah. And for him to come but then leave, like, was he going? Why leave when someone screams? Why would he care?
Right. Yeah. It is interesting.
Does he just come to scare them? Is it to show that? I think a lot of what he does is it's the power. It's the, I could do this, but I'm not going to.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure in some cases too, because sexual assault is about power. So the ambiguity around that,
and that you're supposed to view it as an honor.
Right. Exactly.
I think that's like the really sick and twisted part. It's like, I equate it to when men are like, well, don't you like being catcalled? And it's like, no, I don't want to fucking be talked to.
Right.
I want to be left alone. But obviously in a much more extreme and like worse way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like that. That was a good connection. I think it's also like visually in my head, it's really interesting because it's like you have Lilith who thought she was going to get the seat like on the throne right next to the devil. And then you have Zelda who thought she was going to be a high priestess next to the priest. And both of these women believed these men were going to allow, I say with quotes, them to be these powerful people. And these men are so terrified of powerful women that they can't handle it.
Yeah.
I also think that's what I really like about Nick. And we get a line in the next episode too that I really like, where Harvey says something and Nick's like, do you think I tell her what to do? Like,
Yes.
Are you out of your mind? And like, it shows that even Harvey is so like regressive that he can't quite see it. And like, that's why part of the reason why he can never be a Sabrina. But Nick literally Sabrina says jump and Nick says how high.
Yes.
Sabrina says drown and Nick says okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to teleport you to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah. He literally retrieves the manifesto from the bottom of the ocean.
What did he talk about, fighting off a giant squid or something?
Yeah. And when she goes, hey, like he's like, oh, I'm sorry, things didn't work out. We didn't get the wedding canceled. And she goes, oh, I'm not done yet. And he goes, okay, what's the plan? He doesn't go like, no, we should stop. Or like, he follows her everywhere.
Right.
Also in the scene where she and him are confronting Blackwood as her mom and dad, he's Diana and she's Edward.
Oh, that's a good call. I didn't see that.
When their bodies like change back.
That part is really good. I love that they have this plan to do this, and Blackwood's like, I know it's you.
Yeah, it's really
Who else
funny.
would it be?
Which is so hilarious because I'm like, she could have asked Wardwell, and Wardwell could have helped her conjure a real-looking ghost.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good at it.
Mm-hmm. I talked about Hamlet at the beginning. I think the other thing with Hamlet is if you're on the internet right now, you've heard about Ophelia because there's a Taylor Swift song that mentions Ophelia. And people have opinions on this. And I'm no Shakespeare scholar. And in fact, Hamlet is not one of my most loved or well-read plays, to be honest.
Did we talk through exactly what happens in Hamlet?
I did at the beginning. There's a play within a play, and a ghost of a father demands their child avenge their murder.
Yep.
And
usually my brain waits till we finish the podcast to delete everything we said, but this time it reset halfway through.
But Ophelia is a character who is in love with Hamlet, but then is like manipulated to because they're trying to test Hamlet the whole play is about manipulating people, and she's basically manipulated by a bunch of people and then ends up either drowning on accident or committing suicide. She climbs in a willow tree and I believe drowns in a stream because the willow tree can't hold her weight because it's a willow tree. And then Hamlet and her brother fight at her funeral. It's typical boy shit. But it's this you're just abused and used by men in all these different ways and manipulated, and you end up dead. And I think that it's a good besides Hamlet's mother, she's the only woman character I can think of in the play. There might be others. Like I said, I'm not a Hamlet scholar, but I think that it's a good reminder of just how women are treated as objects. And the other woman, Hamlet's mother, she was married to Hamlet's father, and now she's being married to the other guy who Hamlet believes killed his father, and I think did kill his father, and that's because that's what they're trying to expose.
And you want to know how you can remember that? Who killed Mufasa in The Lion King?
His brother.
That's right.
Is it just a Hamlet retelling?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that
I had completely forgotten about it until this moment.
Oh my God. Well, of course it is. Why didn't I think of that? They left out all the Ophelia stuff, though.
That's right.
So, well, except that no one's, I'm trying to think because Hamlet's friends Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who are kind of betraying him and spying on him the whole time, and then he sends them and they end up getting killed because his new stepdad wanted him to be the one that was killed when they arrived, but he pulled a gotcha. But I'm like, who's that? Timon and Pumbaa? You don't have a good connection to those.
If you look at Wikipedia, it was because I was like, I'm just gonna double check. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I came out swinging on it. I'm like, I knew it was Shakespeare. I wanted to double check.
No, I love that.
They said drew inspiration.
Oh, totally. No, like I said, I was just teasing. I was just like, it doesn't work. But anyway, I just think that thinking about how
how would you do Hakuna Matata in my
in what?
Pentameter.
I don't know. That's not my calling either. But I just think that the way that play treats women is a good also lesson for what they're trying to say in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that women are often the victim of men's stupid games and their power plays.
Yeah.
I also think it's time to bring up one of my favorite things about this show, and that is that Sabrina is Jesus.
Yes. Uh-huh.
It'll be clear in the next episode, but in this one we're starting to get it because Madam Satan is comparing her to the Nazarene, I believe is how she refers to him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's how they do it in this show.
Yeah. So it's there's an exorcism and a resurrection. Jesus did those.
Mm-hmm.
And so she needs to overturn the temple, which is when Jesus went after all the buyers and sellers and he flipped all the tables at the temple because he's don't turn my dad's house into a business. This is a place of worship.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, I'm just selling anime stickers.
That's not what they're selling in churches.
That's true.
But I often think about that because I went to a church that totally did, not in the church, but at the church hall, they did bingo and things like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Same here.
There were a lot of like church related sales.
Mm-hmm.
And they sold things.
Those donuts.
Even like you donated to like light candles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Anyway.
Arm and a leg out there.
Just thinking about it.
But if you buy the annual subscription, what you get is Church Plus. And as part of Church Plus, you get 2 free candles throughout the year. And
Only
you
2?
also get 1 free round of bingo.
Wow.
That's right.
Just for a year?
For subscription. Yeah.
1 round of bingo and 2 candles a year?
That's right. And also...
So these are for the Easter and Christmas Catholics because it's the only time they're going.
That's right. That's the market we're trying to capture here.
The weeklies are already putting their dollars in.
Exactly. Those are what we call whales.
That's so funny. But I just love it. I think it's fun. I really love this idea that she is this Christ-like figure, and they play with it more and more as an anti-Christ-like figure.
Oh, sorry. No, in the next episode.
Yeah, it's definitely clearer in the next episode. I do have some final questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, first I want to talk about Prudence, because he goes, you have as little claim to the name as Sabrina, but then he's like, you're Prudence Blackwood by the end of the episode. So I'm like, does Sabrina have claim to the Blackwood name?
By proxy, Sabrina's like, well,
there's a hole in this argument.
Oh, no. I totally get it. It's a good... I'm of two minds. It is a good indication of like how when he notices that she could potentially be a threat and that he could have more direct control of her if he puts her under him.
Because then she's
directly.
his, and then she'll work for him.
Exactly.
Because she just wants his approval.
Mm-hmm. So that's I think that twist is really good. I hate that it's Prudence.
Me too. Yeah, when Prudence freezes Ambrose, and I'm like, but you guys fucked.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
You're going to torture Ambrose? Anyway.
Totally.
Why? Okay, so with what Madam Satan's doing, which is manipulating Sabrina to overturn the temple, is she using truth to do this?
Yeah, she's like 100% accurate.
So did Blackwood kill Edward Spellman?
Yes. I think 100% without a doubt, because he's like impossible when she has the manifesto.
Is that manifesto the real manifesto? That was Edward Spellman's?
That's a good question.
And was she also trying to save Zelda from a bad marriage at the same time? Because this is the second time in a row she's been like, hey, girl.
Maybe don't.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, when she's choosing this to be what Sabrina ruins.
That's true. And it's, you know what? Maybe. I
mean, it's also just a crime of opportunity,
yeah.
I feel.
Well, it's also interesting, too, that it's the Dark Lord's will for Sabrina to do this. So he's like in direct opposition to Blackwood setting up his thing. So in a weird inversion, I mean, actually, probably.
Well, but
no.
but the devil didn't plan it this way. He just said she needs to overthrow the church.
Right. Which would be overthrowing Blackwood because he's
yes.
at the top.
Yeah. But I don't know if it necessarily has to do with Blackwood's beliefs or if it's just one of the things she needs to do to make whatever this like prophecy or end times come. Blackwood is just collateral, or like a not collateral, but like a just, you know.
Right. But I guess like following in Jesus's footsteps of like everything he did. But that means I would assume then that the Dark Lord does not agree with the way Blackwood is running things then, right? Or else he wouldn't try and overthrow the church.
I think it's just more about bringing Sabrina to power than it is about, you know, like you don't mind losing a few pawns to move the pieces across the board.
I guess that's true, but it's like, I guess actually maybe to...
How much does the devil care about Blackwood?
The actual question, I think, the actual question I'm trying to get at is like, is this a prophecy that the Dark Lord learned about to bring something about, or is this a plan the Dark Lord put together to bring about a reformation.
Is this a development plan, or is it preordained?
Exactly. And the Dark Lord's like, ooh, I need to follow the steps. Or is he like, ooh, if I set up this. So then that would be like, if it is preordained, then it's exactly as you're saying. Then it doesn't matter. That it's just like, we need to just, take things down. But if it's something he put in there, that means he's like, well, I need to like shake the bones of the church.
I see. Yeah.
So things we don't know.
We don't know. Anything else on this one?
Nope. Think I'm good.
All right.
On to the next.
Yeah.
Chapter 17, The Missionaries.
Or as I like to call it, where did all the adults go?
Yeah. I don't know why Blackwood leaves and it's like, Prudence, you're in charge.
And sure, okay, Sister Jackson's gone, but there were other teachers.
Yep.
There were a lot of other adults.
All of them are gone.
Everyone's gone.
Exactly. It's good. We're going to complain about this, get it out of the way, and then we're going to suspend disbelief.
Because this episode's really good. That's why I just wanted to do this now. Because it really doesn't make a lot of fucking sense. It's like, was school canceled? And so they're just like all like hanging out. And so that's that what it is? And so it's just like, Prudence, you're in charge.
Why?
Shouldn't Nick or Ambrose be in charge as head boy? I guess he can't be because
not anymore. He's locked up.
He's locked up.
Yeah. But, much like watching the movie She's All That, you just have to suspend your disbelief for a little bit, and then you'll have a really good time.
I mean, I don't think the point of that She's All That works because the point is not that she's ugly. The point is that she is not dressing to like conventional beauty standards, so therefore the boys perceive her as non-sexy.
Right.
It's just because she's not dressing the way, like, there's no such thing as like an ugly woman. That's my theory in life. Women cannot be ugly. I'm sorry, it's just impossible. It's just that like sometimes we don't dress the way men want us to dress.
That's
and
true.
So then they decide that we're not attractive when in fact we're not trying to make you think about us.
That's right.
That whole movie is about her not giving a shit about the male gaze.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I guess I could do this. But
I'm going along with this friend I made that I'm really enjoying hanging out with and doing stuff.
Yeah, I could do this. And it's also like, how much of it was she doing to intentionally keep herself distant from people versus how much was she doing because she didn't care?
Right.
This is my essay on She's All That.
Yeah.
It's an excellent movie. I'd never seen it before. We watched it the other night.
Fantastic movie. Watch it.
Yeah, you've probably seen it. Everyone's seen it but us, I think.
Yeah,
it's kind
probably.
of the
5-star film.
It was great. That and 10 Things I Hate About You might be two of my favorite films.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because Lainey's she's just great. She's just strong from the beginning.
She's a strong character. She has opinions, and they play with she's a quote unquote nerd, but like her special interest is like performing and theater and art and creating art. It's not like she's, you know what? It's Mia from The Princess Diaries, but with a different plot. And a slightly different personality.
Yeah, she's a little stronger than Mia.
Yeah. Mia's life is weird, so
yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it was a hard comparison.
Oh, but it's so good. Yeah, where like he starts hanging around her, and she's like, "I don't get good grades," and he's like,
"I can't help you with your homework."
Yeah, and he's like, "I'm like good at be valedictorian."
Yeah, like he's like, "I'm like one of the top 5 students in the class. Yes. Like I don't need your help." And so to have the like smart jock and to have the like, I'm good at what I'm good at nerd, you know?
Yeah, perfect.
It's great.
And then you got Matthew Lillard there just committing 100% as in he does as everything he does. I don't know if there is.
Do you think this was the screen test for Scooby-Doo? They were like, can this man not break while watching Matthew Lillard do something weird? He is our Fred.
Exactly. Hold him in.
We got Fred and Shaggy.
Really great casting over there on the Scooby-Doo. I mean, they just got all the big teen actors at that time. So
yeah, most of which are in this movie.
Yes, most of which were in She's All That, including Usher. Usher being in She's All That was the strangest part to me. It was just like, oh, okay.
Also, the dance scene, 10 out of 10.
Oh, it's so good.
Also, is that what the Wednesday dance scene is modeled after?
I know.
She probably said in an interview what she watched to like get inspired for it, but
probably. I mean, it's pretty similar.
It's pretty close,
except for they're not doing it to Big Beat in Wednesday.
Doing it to Lady Gaga, right?
Damn, I can't remember.
I think so.
Makes sense. Nobody's really pulling for, this Fatboy Slim. People know the name, but it's not like he's, chart topping in this day and age. Well, chapter 17.
Back in my day, we had Usher and Fatboy Slim.
Whatever happened to Fatboy Slim?
Oh, baby, your grays are showing.
I know. He's still doing stuff. Chapter 17, The Missionaries. Title card 2 weeks ago. We see that Luke is strung upside down from a tree as a man in a sweater named, we'll call him Jeremy. Or Jerry. And Jerry says he wants to save him, and he wants the name of Luke's fellow witches. And then Luke caves before he kills him and tells him about the school. And then for his trouble, Jerry kills Luke and cuts off his hands to get into the school. They very well
could have said Jeremy, but in my head it was Jerry, and so that's what I went with.
We'll go with Jerry.
Okay.
Today, Sabrina goes to the academy, but finds the door handle burns her because she's not allowed in. So then pounds on the door, and Prudence answers, and is like, "You're not allowed in." Sabrina pleads to visit Ambrose, and it's just like, "Weren't we friends?" And then Prudence is like, "You only speak to my sisters and I when you need help," and tells her to leave. And then Sabrina's like, "But I saved your life." And it was like, "Oh, it was only for your benefit," and then slams the door. Quentin appears behind her and is just like, "Ambrose is in the witch's cell, and the weird sisters plan on torturing him." Sabrina then goes back to Hilda and asks for help, and Sabrina wants to ask the Council of Witches to get Ambrose released because she asked for it. It's like, who's Witch Amnesty International? And Hilda's like, well, I guess you could talk to the Council.
Isn't it the Trivium? I think it's a Trivium.
Trivium?
Trivium? Trivium? Trivium? I wrote it down.
Okay. And then Hilda's like, well, yep, we'll have to summon him to ask about this. And she's like, hey, where's Nick, by the way? And Sabrina's like, oh, drowning his sorrows at Dorian's. And then Hilda's just like, well, when the going gets tough. Ambrose is visited by Dorcas with food. They go to hook up, but Dorcas is kind of like, well, that's fine. We could do this now. And then Prudence comes in and is just like smacks her and just smacks the food down and is just like, and calls her desperate, which is come on, that's a little much.
It's a little rude.
But she tells Ambrose she's been assigned to get a confession from him, and Ambrose is like, you won't get one. It'll take more than this cell to break me. And then Prudence is like, oh, okay, and ushers a demon in to torture him. Sabrina and Hilda summon the council, or the Trivium. They say that they met with Blackwood and there will be no trial, and Ambrose will be killed when Blackwood gets home. And they say, never summon us again. Adam tells Lilith to call in sick and spend the day with him, and with some coaxing, she agrees. Hilda asks where Nick is, and he's... Oh, yeah, sorry. I jumped ahead on that note. Hilda is planning on going to see Ambrose, since she's no longer excommunicated from the church, and bring him some food. Sabrina is going back to Baxter High to see Lilith for help. At Baxter High, Roz is absent in class, and Sabrina asks the other two where she is. Harvey runs off, and Theo's is like, Roz has had a really brutal time. Which I do actually, I don't know if you have a better idea. It seems like it's been a while since Sabrina's been back at school. Do you think it's a few weeks since she hasn't been there? And is it just that she took time off because of Zelda's wedding?
Yeah, I think it's been a while. Remember she said she was going to the academy full time for a while?
But in our last set of episodes, she came back to Baxter High.
For the dance.
Right.
She didn't really do, and then she was there for maybe a day or two.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know how much she's attending.
Right. Sabrina visits Roz, who's in the library, and tells her she shouldn't be kept away. Sabrina goes to Lilith and asks for Roz to be back in class, and Lilith's like, well, Roz requested to learn in the library. And it's like, if you want to help, Lilith is 1 foot out the door. So it's just kind of tossing stuff off to Sabrina and not really listening to her. It's just kind of if you want to help restore her sight, or give her a comfort charm or something, here's a book. You might find something in there to help you.
And why would she restore her sight? Because Jesus cured the blind.
That's good. Sabrina gives Roz a comfort charm, and Roz is like, is this to comfort me or you? And then talks about breaking down at school, and Harvey grills Sabrina on her not being around. Sabrina says she has a spell to help her, and Harvey's like, no, we're not doing that. And Roz agrees with Harvey. Roz says witches cursed my family and witches can only do evil. And why is it that I went blind after kissing your ex-boyfriend? And Sabrina's like, you actually think I would do that? And Harvey's like, you didn't do that, did you? And Sabrina is so upset that both of them would like turn on her like this that she runs off. And then Jerry is in the hallway watching her.
What's crazy about that is it's like Roz has had a degenerative disease this entire time and has been told that this was going to happen.
Yep.
So it's like, what do you mean?
It's Sabrina's fault.
What do you mean? Also, like, it was progressively getting worse up until this point.
Right, yeah, because she had spells of like, oh no, I lost my vision. Hilda offers the chicken to Prudence in exchange for visiting Ambrose, and Prudence eventually agrees after Hilda gives her the idea to eat it in front of Ambrose.
And throw the bones at him.
Pih. Theo asks why Sabrina ran off, and then Harvey and Roz are like, oh, well, she's so terrible, and and all this. And Theo's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, your dad doesn't drink anymore because of her. I'm on the basketball team because of her. Like, she does care for us. And then they're like, oh, well.
And Theo, if anything, has like the most reason, because like Theo used magic and sent, what's his name, down the stairs.
Right, yeah. And Theo doesn't blame her for that?
No,
So
because
Theo's
Theo knew it would hurt them and did it when they were in a precarious... Theo owns that Theo misused the magic.
Yeah, Theo has the best... That's a really good point. Theo has the best view of magic, as in you have to use it responsibly.
Yeah. And like Sabrina's trying to use it responsibly and help us.
Exactly. You know, she may fuck up, but like, comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Ambrose and Hilda have time to meet in Blackwood's office, and he says he's guilty. But we then also see that Hilda is being led into Ambrose's cell to meet with him, and she tells Ambrose to plead guilty. The real Hilda, which is in Blackwood's office, realizes that the Ambrose in front of her is fake, and then is revealed to be Agatha. And then the real Ambrose also realizes that the Hilda visiting him in his cell is fake, and it's revealed to be Dorcas, and she tells him he's going to die in this cell.
Which is crazy because she was just going to fuck him.
It's her sister. Pushed it out of her, you know what I mean? She still wants to, but she's like, oh, I can't. Nick drinks his woes away when Sabrina comes to visit him at Dorian's. He says he only had the academy and that Sabrina can always run back to her mortal life and her mortal boyfriend. She's like, not anymore. And he's like, oh, but you did go back to him, didn't you? And then mentions that his mother would have warned him of falling for a half-breed. And Sabrina's like, well, okay, I'm having a really bad day. I'm leaving. Adam and Lilith walk through Greendale, and Adam asks her to come to Tibet with him, and she says she'll consider it. And then we see that Stolas is off in the trees. This is when we both were like, oh God, what was it called? Doctors Without Borders? Physicians Without Frontiers.
Physicians Without Frontiers.
Ambrose is woken up by the Weird Sisters. Prudence parades the bones of the roast chicken in front of him, and she tosses the bones in his cell. Makes me think of it Always Sunny, where they throw the things at the picture and they're like, they put the little popcorn and they're like, I'm sick of this dude. And then they leave. Ambrose gathers all the bones as he realizes something. Jerry visits the Spellman house, and Sabrina's like, oh, we already have faith, and goes to close the door on him. He's like, can I just get a glass of water? And she's like, fine. And she lets him inside, and they have a discussion on faith and salvation. Oh yeah, and he's from the Church of Innocence. Roz and Harvey study together, and Roz touches the charm that Sabrina made and has a vision of her dead in her kitchen. And then Jerry's there too. Roz asks Harvey to get to the phone. Sabrina ponders washing away sins, and Jerry's like, all you have to do is ask for forgiveness. And then the phone rings, and Sabrina picks up to Roz, warning her about the missionary who draws a knife and tries to kill her. He runs after her crazed, but she sets the door on him and escapes on her bike. Hilda talks to Dr. C about Ambrose using the chicken bones to make a skeleton key. A blonde girl walks in her sweater, a fellow missionary, saying Hilda needs to repent or her and the witches will burn in hell. Hilda removes Dr. C's bracelets to let his incubus out to take care of the missionary. Nick is at Dorian's when Dorian gets shot in the throat by an arrow. Turns out another missionary is there with a crossbow. While he's going after Nick, Dorian gets back up and appears behind the missionary and stabs him with the same arrow. And Nick says, don't kill him. We need to find out until we find out everything.
Nick is too drunk to fight back or like teleport himself out of there. He does his little like hand thing and then like nothing happens. He's got like some of the best like I feel like magic like hand movements. Like it feels very like intentional when he's doing things. Whereas like you don't see the others do magic in that way for the most part.
No, we see Ambrose do it. Yeah.
It's him and Ambrose that have a very, and I mean, it's obviously, I think, a specific move that they're, you know what I mean? You want it to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, it just looks very cool.
Sabrina runs into Dr. C's, and Hilda and Dr. C are okay. Nick comes in to say there's another missionary, and it's like, Sabrina, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said those things, and I'm sobering up now. They realize they need to get in contact with the academy, as the missionaries will march there soon. Adam and Lilith enjoy dinner when Adam says you can get dessert when you say yes to Tibet, and Lilith says yes, she will. And it turns out that the Adam she's been having dinner with is the Dark Lord, and she's been eating Adam. He tells her there is no escape, and she needs to clean her plate of the mortal. The Weird Sisters summon the class to cast a spell to make Ambrose confess. We see that Ambrose was able to make the skeleton key for his cell and escapes. The missionaries arrive at the academy and uses Luke's hand to open the door, and as they open it, Ambrose is there, and he's like, yells witch hunters, which the other witches hear. The missionaries search the academy but find it empty. The Weird Sisters appear behind him and cast spells on him. The missionaries then grabs hands and say a prayer, and then a divine light comes down upon them and overrides the Weird Sisters and attacks them, and the missionaries say they are divine and angels. The Spellmans and Nick get a hand to get into the academy as Harvey comes in with a gun to help. Nick tries to talk him out of it, but Harvey doesn't budge, and Hilda says, let him help. Lilith throws up and is upset about how the Dark Lord found out about her and Adam and realizes it was Stolas. She screams, and Stolas bursts into flames. She realizes that the Dark Lord won't see what's coming next from her because he's not omnipotent, and she'll take away the one thing he loves. The Save the Academy crew, which is the Spellmans, Nick, and Harvey, find the statue of Baphomet destroyed and the academy deserted. Ambrose stumbles in with a knife in his chest, and Hilda removes the knife and patches the wound. Supposedly, the missionaries are actually angels, and they took the witches to the desecrated church. Quentin comes in and says that they've sealed off the desecrated church, and Nick says they can... what they try and do with witches, these angels and missionaries, is they consecrate them and then kill them. Quentin says the church has been sealed off. I already mentioned that. Sabrina says, I was baptized so I can get in there. The missionaries preach to the witches while the Weird Sisters are on pyres. Sabrina storms into the church and gets shot in the gut with an arrow for her troubles. The woman comes behind Sabrina and puts a crown of thorns on her head to prevent her spell casting. Sabrina refuses to repent as they continue to shoot her with arrows until she collapses. The missionaries go to burn Dorcas, but Sabrina appears behind them in the air and telling them to repent. They recite the prayer she tells them to speak, and she tells them she's the Dark Lord's sword before immolating both of them. She also brings two witches that were killed by the missionaries back to life, which is Elsbeth and Milton. Mm-hmm. And then Harvey comes in to see Sabrina floating in the air with her eyes all white and the crown of thorns.
And we don't see how Harvey reacts. No,
he just goes, Brina?
Okay, so once again, Sabrina's Jesus. She's healing the blind. She doesn't, but she could. We got the crown of thorns. We got the resurrection of herself and others.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good.
That ending is so good. I love the effect of her floating in the air. I mean, I think the only issue is the CG effect. I'm like, some of these aren't good. Yeah. But I think like her with the crown of thorns, the milky white eyes, like floating in the air on like some screens, and then like immolating both the missionaries, and they like change your voice. Mm-hmm. Great. It's so good.
Okay, let's talk about the witch hunters and all of that first.
Yeah.
So our avenging angels, if you will. I love this. I think this is so fun. I think it's a great way to show like the dangers of this world for witches besides being discovered by mortals. Because we assume these avenging angels are also supernatural beings, or are they? Because they were able to best Lucas. They're able to channel some sort of power from their god to overthrow the Weird Sisters on a 2v3 situation.
Yep.
So are they more powerful? Are they older? Are they more capable? Like, what is it?
My assumption being when they say they are divine and angels is to take them at face value after that. So they're
literally angels.
Yes, exactly. And whether they're along with whatever God exists in this universe we don't know. But I think they literally are angels that are there taking revenge and having witches atone.
But Dorian was able to kill one.
Yes.
But Dorian,
because they underestimated Dorian.
Because Dorian's impossible to kill.
Yeah.
As long as Dorian's painting is.
Because that one, Gideon, takes his eye off the ball.
He thinks he got Dorian. He's like, with the others, we asked to repent, but Dorian's so high risk, we just kill him.
Yeah, totally. Because Dorian, I guess, isn't technically a witch.
I don't know what Dorian is.
I think he's just a supernatural being.
Yeah, and just like long-lived. So can Dorian do any magic?
That's a very good question. I don't know.
I don't either. I'm trying to think, like, other than that, like we talked about, like the Mormon codedness of them aesthetically.
Yeah, and I think what Harvey says to it, because this is another one that's like funny. I think this is actually just a really good horror story. And I think that's also like some of my flagging with horror is I don't always like horror stories. But I think this one's really well told, of like the people that you think are supposed to be like
the good guys.
Exactly.
The angels are evil.
And then also that it's applying this also to like faith-based people. We think of these people even if it's like misguided or like uncomfortable around them, I don't think a lot of people think of them as like necessarily horrible people, but like what are these people that are practicing this certain thing? That's not necessarily a good thing. So it's like conflating that, like, even if you supposedly have pure intentions to save you, that they could actually be just bad people.
Well, and it also shows us, so if these are the followers or the angels of the false god, and then they are the followers of the devil, like there is no good option. There's no good option for them. You are either following this like they're both horrible,
right,
and hurting each other.
Yeah, and
honestly, it seems like the witches leave the angels alone, and the angels don't leave the witches alone. You know, if anything, it's the opposite.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. And they're like fascists, right? They have to come down and put the boot down because they don't believe what they believe, and then they think that saving them is to
make them like pure of heart and then killing them because you can't. Yeah,
it's exactly that same thing we were talking about with power that last time. It's like they want to have power over them, and I think they're making a very direct line with like how they. I think you can extrapolate in the show that it's making a very direct line with how they do that with missionaries. There's a certain power over you that they have to like save you and draw into their ways in their church. And that is the only way, because I mean, as we know from Catholicism, that it teaches you, if you don't believe in Catholicism, you're going to hell.
What's crazy though about this though, is that they immediately turn on their God. When Sabrina's like, you need to, need to say the Dark Lord's Prayer or whatever, they're like, okay. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, so do you not believe that yours is good too? Or are you weak-willed? You know, what's the...
Yeah, are you actually, when confronted with another power, that weak that you would sell out your God? Is it not necessarily a calculation of it? Yeah, it's more like, oh, you would rather save your own skin than stand by your beliefs.
Which... I don't believe in a lot of things hard enough to be willing to stand in my beliefs. I mean,
I think it's trying to show you like, oh, when it push comes to shove, would these people like actually?
Yeah. Do they believe? The other thing I think that is really good with this is the Lilith devil stuff, that she's trapped and she can't get out. And no matter what she does, she's literally like, she gives this man a ring to protect him. He still ends up getting taken and killed by the devil, and she gets forced to eat him. And Stolas, who was gifted to her by the devil, is betraying her, which is very similar to Leviathan and Ambrose.
Yeah,
like it's when you receive a gift from someone who has power and authority over you, and it seems like a general kindness, your immediate assumption should be that there's something wrong. Because like, why would he do that? Like, why would he show you kindness when he's this cruel? And I think that so when she's like, I'm going to make him mad, she's saying she's going to kill Sabrina. Yeah. Which I'm like, that'll be fun and interesting. Because like, wouldn't it be more fun to like control Sabrina? But anyway.
Right.
It's a good time.
Yeah, and like for Lilith, it's like her abusive ex won't let her be happy. has to come after her and try and ruin her life.
Yes. Well, and he's not her ex. She can't get rid of him.
Right, exactly. She, and going back to that same thing, like women not being able to get divorced previously, right? There's a lot more rights around that now, but still it's not, women may or be able to get divorced, but it's a long, hard road to get there. So like Lilith, unable to separate from the Dark Lord, tries to run away.
The other thing I want to talk about is the Hilda Harvey bias, because it actually, I think, plays an important role in, because we knew Zelda had a Nick bias, and she's like, why not sleep with him? You do what you want in the last episode, or 2 episodes, in our last podcast episode. But I think that for Hilda, she wants to bring Harvey to help. She's like, see, he's trying to make nice. Like, she makes excuses for Harvey because Harvey represents the mortal side. And that's the side that Hilda went to that baptism. Hilda promised Diana she'd help protect Sabrina and like maintain that mortal life and culture for her. And so for her, Harvey is a part of the mortal world, and Hilda knows how evil their world is. So Harvey is, by being mortal, good, which is ironic because Harvey is not, I don't think Harvey's evil. I don't think Harvey's a bad person. I think that's what makes this a more compelling love triangle than most, because it's more about who's the right person for her, which is way more interesting than just like, oh, well, like, who's she gonna pick, the bad boy or the other one? Like, there's more to it. There's more meat to it. And she wants to, Hilda wants to protect that part of Sabrina, that innocent, mortal part of Sabrina. Hilda loves mortal. She views them as very innocent and very, like, she wants to help them. And it makes sense. I mean, she's with Dr. Cerberus, who, granted, has a demon in him, so I don't really know if he's considered mortal anymore. I don't really know what that means for him. But I think it's cute. I think it's funny. And I also think it's, unfortunately for her, very misled, because when you compare Nick and Harvey, you're like, oh, he is not the better option for her, because Harvey is mean to her for a very long time. Harvey's very mean to her in this until he apologizes and shows up. And Harvey's like,
oh, yeah.
Harvey is cold to her. Then Harvey's like, I'm going to date your best friend. And that's all weird. And granted, like, they're teens and it's fine. It makes the show fun. And like, that's the purpose of it. But it's like, he does apologize, but like, it's much later. And it's much more like, oh my God, you almost died.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think when you look at this episode, Nick's a dick in this episode at the beginning, because he's like, I lost my home. I lost all my friends. I have nowhere to go.
Yes. And
I'm having a pity party for me, which is fair. And he's mean about it. And you can tell he's very self-hatred-y about it, because he calls her a half-breed.
All his insecurities come out.
Which is, in previous episodes, the one thing he absolutely, like, seems obsessed with and loves about Sabrina is her mortalness. And, like, he doesn't want to mess up because she's immortal, and he's very, like, conscious of it. So it becomes, this big insecurity for him of, like, oh, like, I messed this up because, and and playing with that. And then, of course, he turns it on her because that's what you do when you're mean and you're mad and you're vicious.
Exactly.
And he falls back on, like, old habits. It seems like this is an old habit for him. And she falls back on old habits when shit hits the fan and goes back to the mortal school and tries to talk to her old friends. Like, it's very funny. It once again shows them in a mirror, I think, where it's like they're both, like, realizing that their old habits don't work. It's like, oh, I can't run back to these people. I can't run back to this lifestyle. I can't make these choices this way because it doesn't help me.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think it once again, like, puts them in a really good framework for, like, oh, look, they're growing at the same time together at the same pace.
And exactly. Things won't work. They don't, yes, because you're growing and things are changing. It's not always going to continue. You can't go back to the old things sometimes.
I excuse Roz
not always helpful.
for being mean because Roz had a trauma.
Yes.
I don't excuse Harvey anymore. I know his brother died. And I know, but at the end, he was going to be dead anyway.
It's pretty bad.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
But like,
and she doesn't tell him any of this, so he feels manipulated and cheated.
Oh, totally. No, like
she
I
also
said,
separates from him.
No, totally. Like I said, but I mean, at the end of the day, Roz is still alive and kicking. Like she has to deal with this.
Yeah. I get Harvey.
What do you
get
mean?
it.
Yeah, no, they really twist the knife too with having him shoot his brother when he couldn't shoot the familiar.
Yeah.
We talked about this when it happened. And I get it. I just don't think that there's any way for them to work at this point.
No. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what.
And so he just becomes kind of like, to me, like a sore thumb. Like, I'm like, go away. Like, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm going to come. And then he doesn't even come until the end. I'm like, what were you doing the whole time?
For
like when she's in the church.
Gun. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his gun. Shoot the angels. Do something. Was he just standing there?
Seems like it was already taken care of by the time he got in.
Yeah, but they had time to shoot Sabrina about 47 times.
times.
What was he doing?
Yeah, God knows.
But my favorite part of this whole episode is when they're talking about going into the church and Sabrina's like, well, I've been baptized, so I can. And Harvey's like, I'm a human, so I can. And Harvey turns to Nick and he's like, are you going to let her go in there alone? And Nick says, I think I wrote it down, but it's along the lines of like, I don't let her do anything. Like, do you really think?
Yeah. Do you really think I tell her what to do?
Yeah. And you're just like, yeah, no, exactly. Like he does not. Oh, you don't seriously think I tell her what to do you? Mm-hmm. And I was just like, yeah, like this man understands that his place is behind her.
That's right.
He understands the hierarchy of his relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that and the immediate apology to me make him a really believable character.
Yeah.
They make him real. I don't think it's nice.
No. Yeah, he says some very mean things.
But I don't think it's unbelievable or like unwalkbackable. That's what I will say about this show. I think most of the characters, like they make believable choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a lot of questions about Hilda like really being so obsessed with restoring the family name, or not Hilda, Zelda being obsessed with like maintaining the family name to the point where she's willing to marry Blackwood and like she wants that power. But like I understand she wants power. We don't know Zelda well enough for me to be like this decision makes the most sense.
It makes sense to me in that she's a devout follower of the church.
That's true. I guess I just like don't feel like she's that devout of a follower of the church because she like instilled so much like so many beliefs that are almost counterintuitive to it in Sabrina. But I completely understand how people can be like, no, I believe in this wholeheartedly, even though I act this other way.
Exactly. It's that hypocritical conservative thing. It's just like, how could you do that? How could you say this when you don't act this way? Like, and you know, that's just how they are. But she just wants the recognition and power that comes from being in high standing within the society of the church. She doesn't have to follow every doctrine.
It's very true.
But yeah, I think I have a bit more grace for Harvey, and I do enjoy his presence as a separate thing here. But
I like when he's with Roz. Like, I think that like that's fun. And I got annoyed in 2 episodes ago when he's like, I don't care if you go to the dance. And I'm like, get over yourself. Like, bro, come on.
He's okay. I know
and because Theo has to talk some sense into these 2 dumb motherfuckers. And like that they both don't immediately go, oh my God, you're right, we need to call Sabrina and apologize. That they have to like sit with it for a while, which is believable.
Yeah, I completely understand
but I'm like,
it's the same thing of like that Nick lashes out at Sabrina. Everybody's lashing out at Sabrina.
Everybody's lashing out at Sabrina.
Harvey lashes out at Sabrina for his helplessness and also like, hey, let me pick at that scab again. And then Roz is also feeling helpless about it. So then again, preying on the similar to Nick of like preying on her insecurities. I don't know what Sabrina could do. Did Sabrina actually do this to me? Isn't that like, so if witches curse my family, you know, isn't that a thing that's gnawing at the back of her brain of like, oh, what could Sabrina have done to me? Even if she doesn't actually believe it.
Well, and because her grandmother told her that not all witches were evil and that she knew her friend. Right.
But, you know, it's still something that she hasn't quite maybe squared away. I feel like that's what bubbles up to the surface for everybody. And then Sabrina's just like, I am having a hard time too, you know, all 3 of you.
Well, and what's nice with Theo, though, is like, so it really mirrors Dorothea, who helped get the witches away during the, you know. Yeah. So it's like Theo's like, no, I'm going to protect my friend who is a witch.
Yeah. And I think the reason I like Harvey a lot is because he always means well, but fucks up a lot. And I think that's very real. He is trying his best.
Yeah, you're right.
He comes back around. Exactly. I'm not saying he's right for Sabrina. Exactly what you're saying there. Like, exactly. I think just as a character to constantly have to bumble his way to the right thing. Yeah, I like that.
I just don't like that this is leading us towards another is Harvey interested in Sabrina still moment. He's not over Sabrina. And it's obvious because he runs there with a gun to help her.
Yeah. I assume so. I didn't take it that way because I assumed that was something that him and Roz it's like, oh shit, and he's like, all right, well, I gotta go help her because Roz put me in touch here, and it's like there's like someone trying to kill her,
and then I'm gonna go in with her and help her in the church thing. Like it's just it's giving boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
I think people should do that for their friends of us.
Yeah, but he's the ex.
Yeah, and so it plays with that. One of the things I really do like about this is I like when Nick is jealous.
Yes.
He does a really good job of looking so put upon while they're standing in the foyer talking. I'm like, he's so good at this.
And yeah, because he's, again, that same insecurity of she's just gonna
run back to him.
She's just gonna leave me, and then she goes right back to him, her immortal life, and throws away her witch life.
And leaves me, abandons me.
Yep, that's right. So then, there's this really powerful warlock that's just scared of the boy who's
mad.
Exactly. Who, who doesn't know up from down sometimes.
It's so funny too because Harvey talks to Nick that way when Nick literally saved his ass.
Yes.
At the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because when Harvey was all jealous of Nick and Nick's I'm here because Sabrina asked me to be here. What do you I will do anything for this woman. And Harvey's like, oh wait, that's how you're supposed to treat a woman? He's the dumbest boy in school.
He is.
You're
but he's learning.
I love him.
Yeah, I do. I don't think he's my favorite character, but I enjoy him being that character that I think that's very believable of this character who has to who's learning. He's constantly learning. I think that's why when he does the wrong thing or is mean or is petty, that he's continuing to continuing to learn and grow.
Totally. And it makes it more believable that he does these things. It's just as someone who's consuming it, you're we have so many toxic men on this show. I need you to get it together.
Yeah, and I think his toxicity is at a much smaller volume than everybody else.
Yeah, it's a response to something. It's not he's walking around being toxic. I mean, just because your brother came back from the dead and you had to shoot him.
I mean, come on now. Get over it. Get over it, bud. He's not as toxic as Jacob in Twilight Eclipse or even New Moon.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
How dare you? As a team Jacob girly?
Yeah, I was.
Edward is way more toxic.
Sorry, not New Moon. What was the fourth one?
Breaking Dawn?
Thank you. Breaking Dawn.
Well, okay, but that doesn't count. He's imprinted on her daughter.
He imprints.
I don't think it's voluntary.
You sure about that?
Well, I think... Oh, so, okay.
Okay, and I say this that I can't quite remember.
I don't think it's voluntary. That's not how that works.
I see.
It's not voluntary. But what it is it really tells you how strange other people's minds are. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that was a concept someone was like, yes, I'm going to run with this.
Write this, yeah. Well,
and that a team of editors were like, you know what? Yeah, this sounds good. No one stopped the train.
I think editors in a lot of cases are there to mold, and maybe some of the content they just go, that's on you. What I mean? We're going to clean up the language and kind of iron out some of this stuff. But
developmental edits are about the plot and the story.
That's true.
That's a plot point.
Maybe they circled it and she's just disregard. Anyway, Breaking Dawn has a lot of problems.
Yeah, when you've only seen the movie, you've never read the books.
That's right. At least part 1 of the movies has a 1 star for me on Letterboxd.
That's fair. They're not good.
No.
But regardless, Twilight kind of loses its fun when you get rid of the filter. The first movie's filter.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Visually.
Yeah, there's a lot more camera work going on.
But this isn't a Twilight podcast.
No, it's not. So that means it's time to wrap it up. You could find, unless you had anything else.
I think that's it. Yeah. I mean, I don't want people to think I'm a Harvey hater. I'm just not a Harvey stan.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Actually, I don't really care if people think I'm a Harvey hater.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm going to be just fine.
Yeah. I think you'll be all right. Oh, did you hit your tooth?
Yeah.
That was just the Harvey haters popping you one.
Yeah, I know.
Or the Harvey likers.
I thought I moved my microphone lower.
All right. So you can find this podcast on all your audio podcast platforms of choice at Dead Ends. And you can also find us on YouTube at dead_ends. All our podcast art is made by Vendrinic, and you can find the link to their Tumblr in the description of all our podcast episodes. You can also write us emails at deadendspcast@gmail.com. Could be anything about the show, or any of the ones we covered, and any of the shows, or any of the things we've talked about. Mm-hmm. You can also do that in the YouTube comments, and we'll talk to you there and reply. Ooh, I got a delay in my headphones. We're gonna take them off for this plug section, and then please rate and review 5 stars on all your podcast platforms, and like and subscribe. Tell people about it. We're a small, humble podcast, and so we appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
Not today, Satan.
Not today.
That's me being a fan of Harvey. Not today, Satan. Not today.
Not today. Love you so much.
Love you. Bye.